Let me ask you something real. What if before the next phase of your life begins, you're forced to stop, look back, and decide what you're actually going to carry forward? Not money, not success, not comfort, but values. That's where the book of Deuteronomy begins. Deuteronomy is not a journey forward. It's a pause. The people are standing at the edge of the promised land. Not inside it, not outside it, right at the border. And Moses knows something they don't. He's not going with them. This book is Moses speaking to a new generation. A generation that didn't see Egypt, didn't walk through the sea, didn't feel the chains. They only know stories. And stories fade unless they're remembered intentionally. Deuteronomy means second law. But that name is misleading. This isn't repetition. It's interpretation. The law is retold, not to control, but to remind. Because freedom without memory always collapses. Moses begins by recounting the journey, not glorifying it, not hiding failures. He reminds them where they doubted, where they delayed, where fear cost them years. This is not nostalgia. It's accountability. Here's something powerful. Moses doesn't blame the people alone. He includes himself. Leadership owns history. That's rare. Deuteronomy understands something deep about humans. People forget pain quickly, but also forget lessons. So Moses repeats, not because they're stupid, because memory shapes behavior. This book emphasizes choice more than any other, not forced obedience. Choice. Again and again, Moses says, you can choose life or destruction. That's not threat. That's reality. Deuteronomy makes one thing clear. God doesn't want robots. He wants willing alignment. Love, not fear. Commitment, not pressure. One of the central ideas here is love, and that surprises people. This book says, love the Lord your God with all your heart. Not obey, love. Obedience grows out of relationship, not the other way around. Deuteronomy also talks about teaching. Parents are told to talk about values, at home, on the road, morning, night, because culture doesn't transmit itself automatically. It must be practiced. This book is deeply concerned with power. It warns future kings, limits authority, protects the poor. Justice is not optional. Leadership is not above law. That idea shaped democratic thinking centuries later. Deuteronomy also revisits the wilderness failures. But now they make sense. The wandering wasn't wasted. It trained dependence. It exposed fear. It humbled pride. There's a tenderness in this book. Moses pleads. He knows prosperity is dangerous. Comfort erodes memory faster than suffering. So he warns, when life is good, don't forget where it came from. This is not anti-success. It's anti-arrogance. Deuteronomy also acknowledges suffering. Not everything goes right. But faith is framed as loyalty over time, not instant reward. The book constantly contrasts two paths, life and death, blessing and curse, not as superstition, but as consequence. How you live shapes what follows. Then comes the hardest part. Moses prepares the people for his absence. That's painful. He led them out, but won't lead them in. Sometimes leaders plant trees they'll never sit under. Moses accepts this. No bitterness, no entitlement, just obedience. That's maturity. He passes leadership to Joshua, not because Joshua is perfect, but because continuity matters. No movement survives without succession. The final moments of Deuteronomy are quiet. No conquest yet. No celebration. Just blessing, warning, hope, and a view of the land from a distance. Moses dies outside the promise. That bothers people, but it carries deep wisdom. Purpose is not measured by arrival, but by faithfulness. Here's the deeper message of Deuteronomy. Freedom is not sustained by miracles. It's sustained by memory, choice, and love. If Genesis explains identity, Exodus explains liberation, Leviticus explains formation, Numbers explains hesitation, Deuteronomy explains commitment. It asks, what kind of people will you be when no one is forcing you? What values will you keep when life becomes comfortable? Deuteronomy understands that prosperity tests character more than hardship ever did. This book doesn't end the story. It prepares it. It hands responsibility forward. And that's why Deuteronomy still matters. Because most failures don't come from lack of knowledge. They come from forgetting. If you've ever stood at a new chapter of life, unsure what to bring with you, unsure what to leave behind, Deuteronomy understands you. It doesn't rush you. It reminds you. Before you cross into what's next, remember who you are. Remember what shaped you. Remember what matters. That's the final wisdom of Deuteronomy. Not rules, not fear, but chosen faithfulness.